Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Trekking Across the Universe Weekend Review, and we're spending it a special hour, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. Hell, we might do an hour per episode. Just kidding. Today's the Weekend Review. I'm Roger from Arc 47. That's Michael from... Is that right?
Yeah, he's the lone survivor of Arc 2.
Oh, there was a lone survivor. Did you squeeze out a pore or something?
Yeah, I think he.
I grabbed a space suit.
Yeah, he did the escape pod. There you go.
All kidding aside, that's Michael down there, and of course we have Jag joining us. How you doing, Jag? How's everything, man?
Good. Thankful again that you guys, I guess, thought I was doing a good job the first time that you invited me back.
Whoa. Okay, let's not. Whoa. We need company.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for having me back, and I got some good feedback on the first show, and a lot of people are all starting to catch on with watching you all, and I'm hoping that becomes even greater, more viewers, and hopefully these kind of shows like this will help turn the tide that we can maybe hopefully get a season 2, and then we can talk forever.
Yes, and putting it all aside for just a moment, Jag, I have a man crush on your cap. Thank you. Yes, I am a hardcore Voyager fanatic. I don't drink to excess when it comes to Voyager, but I might be a Voyager holic. But what do I know? I don't get things right nowadays. But hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is, but yeah, I love TNG, don't get me wrong, and the old show as well, but I kind of got into the Voyager franchise a little bit more than normal, and I mean, who doesn't like Janeway? So at least I do. I like Janeway. And if I haven't mentioned it one more time for my favorite friends that are out there, Arcaholics, that would sport the unofficial name for
Arcaholics. Where'd that come
from? Well, I think it was Comet Water and all that stuff where people were drinking stuff. So just want to make sure my friends that are watching, I'm going to get out there. It's Arcaholics. That's the official name. So for anybody that's a fan of the Arc. So I'm going to bring that out.
Let's see.
So I'm taking over the show already.
We're 3 minutes in. It's not even a question whether you're taking the show or not. That's not a question. No. It's So what happened? They didn't like Arcers. They were unhappy. Who's they?
I don't know. I mean,
are voices talking to you, Jag, telling you that I screwed up?
Yeah, I think Arcers is a good name, and I think there's quite a few out. Archivists was another name that came out, and that kind of thing. Really? But I guess they liked. I actually came up with Arcaholics, and I guess it stuck. So I'm not trying to take any. And by the way, I don't drink, so I'm just like. I just thought I put the 2 and 2 together with the Comet Water and the whole thing that happened with everything there. And I just kind of said, and we're addicted, or at least I am, to the show. And that's, basically a holic. So I just put 2 and 2 together. So there goes my plug for the Arcaholics for any of my people that are watching from the Facebook group.
Oh, your people.
My people. They ran me after the show. They came after me. They're like, "Why did you say this?" And I was like, "Okay, I promised to say it on the next show." So, anyway, well, thank you guys again for having me here, and it's nice to see Michael survive Dark 2. So
I did, yes. I'm so happy about that.
That was very good.
All kidding aside, ladies and gentlemen, we are having a blast. Jag did join us. I believe it was. I guess if we follow a timeline, it was around episode 6. When we were doing a review of it. He spent quite a bit of time on with us in the chat room, and it was excellent. I said, dude, it's way too much commentary for you being in the chat room. You need to join us. Lo and behold, he kind of like demurred that day, but it was made very clear to us by his presence and obviously being here again. Oh, hey, look at that. Testing. You knew I was going to do that. Anyway, all kidding aside, folks. That's Jag. I'm Roger. That's Michael. We're going to get into it in just a quick moment. Quick announcements. It's ndbmedia.net at the bottom. We want to thank everyone. We are blown away by our views across the network. We are absolutely stunned. We are thrilled. We are humbled. Folks, we are you. We are viewers. We are fans. There is nothing different other than we don them headphones. We're the ones that put ourselves in front of the camera. We're the ones that take that leap and fall on our faces. But we have fun doing it.
And I'm proof that I'm a fan and I'm here. I had no idea in all my life from being a fan of a show that I'd actually be on live, programming with you guys or just anywhere, talking what I like. So this is definitely true about fans being with fans.
Is this your first time doing anything like this?
Technically second, since the show before was actually my first time. But yes, this is
touche.
yes, but this is second. This is my second time doing a live show, and for an introvert, I'm very freaking out, but I'm enjoying myself at the same time. So it's kind of a mixed emotion at the moment, but we're here to talk about my favorite show. Now, if we were talking sports or something else, I'd just probably be in the corner somewhere. But.
Jag, let me tell you something. You are surrounded by two other introverts as well.
Oh, cool.
He's an introvert. Oh, and the non-introvert of the family I just joined. And lo and behold, he's wearing the colors. I should have worn Picard's Admiral's bars. Richard, good evening. Thanks for joining us. I love the Kirk uniform. Damn good. That is really cool. All kidding aside, always.
And let's get it out of the way, Richard. Let's go ahead and mind meld now. So we can.
How is everybody tonight?
Richard, I'm doing real well. I'm a bit on the tired side, but I'm excited about being here, and I can't wait to get the conversation going. How you doing, Richard?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I'm ready for, I'm kind of ready for tonight. We'll see what
Richard,
happens.
I'm back to my old deeds.
Oh,
there we go. Yeah. I got him.
But that's not very much.
Very good. I unfortunately stopped somewhere around
10 minutes in.
Oh, smart ass. I didn't do it word for word, but I did run out of time on my second watch, and that was where the scene is where Lane was not only relieved of command, but stripped of his command. But we'll get into that.
Well, that's later on. But first.
Yeah, there you go.
First, anyone listening to this show right now, please subscribe and hit that like button and also that notification bell. So you can continue now, Roger. I'm sorry.
No, I love it, man. I love it. We've been talking about it. Thank you, Richard. So actually, we're great. I'm going to go right to our generational officer right here, the one who survived Arc 2. We're going to get to it right now. Let's start off with some of our thoughts right now. And then we're going to go over to Jag, Richard, and then myself. And then we'll maybe go scene by scene, or we're going to jump around. I think we all have our notes. We all have what we want to talk about, so let's just get to it. Go ahead, Michael. What do you want to?
Well, let's see. The knocking out of now I just lost his name.
Lane.
Thank you. Of Lane when he's trying to help. And he gets knocked out by the guy's wife. That was kind of interesting. And it took him a while to recoup. But I mean, that was, it makes total sense why she did it. She didn't recognize him. He wasn't one of the in people. And I guess it was only the captain, the girl that died in the pod,
Ingrid.
And then the one guy who
Trent
sacrificed himself to save the Ark.
Yeah, Ingrid and Trent.
And there are only 3 people. That's not many that knew that secret. I didn't think so.
Well, it's a good thing that secret got passed on, or they'd be sitting in there forever.
Yeah, because going with that, with the figured out. Well, there is no numbered. They're all numbers in the thing. There's no letters, and it's like, where are they?
That's true, and leave it to Alicia and her expertise to try to home in, and Eva. I don't know if it's Eva or Eva, but leave it to them to try to zero in on what I think was called 0T or T0.
Actually, I believe it was OT.
OT.
Sector
So
OT, because all of them are numbered except for that
wow,
one.
we just got wow. Someone did his homework. Look at him. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
And thank you. Yes.
um, so go on, Mr. Arc 2. But yes, that was a very
No,
good
that was
reveal.
my first little thing. So, but I just thought that was a nice way to start. And
Well, we found out more about trust a little bit in this
yes, we
episode.
did.
So
My favorite line
that
of
was
his was
interesting.
when he said, "You pissed me off, but I love you."
Yeah.
That was my it's like, okay.
And when we were watching Helena, her name is Helena. When we were
Yes.
watching her, coming out of her shell, and Lane finally wakes up, and you instantly realize Kelly is not the one to worry about right now in this episode. It's Helena. So because she's like the mad scientist beyond William, in that she will do whatever, she's relentless, she's ruthless, into whatever goal she's got. She's going to do whatever it takes to get it. And that's the persona, or that's the character that I got from her, that she was going to protect William as best she can. However, she knows that William is a little, likes to go off and have some fun, and she's aware of that, but she also very much loves him and loves the project and that they're in. So that was one of the things that I saw, was that Kelly is someone to deal with, but Helena is also someone that we need to reckon with as well.
It seems like that trust guy is like Captain Kirk on steroids. I mean, he was because right in front of her, he's sitting, he's looking at all these young girls, thinking, "Oh my God, what's he doing?" He looks like Mr. Freeze with that bald head, but
As a matter of fact, she does tell him when Felix leaves, and Felix's number one is there, and she says, "Don't you even think about it." Straight up, didn't whisper it, just threatened him.
Yeah. Well, she's aware of his escapades,
proclivities. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, he played the part really well, because I loathe William Trust, just by the way he acted and the way he is. So that means the actor did a good job.
I think the whole deal of Trust, the impression that I'm getting, especially from this episode, is he's almost like a mad scientist. He's almost I don't want to say Sheldon-like character from The Big Bang Theory, where it's the knowledge. That's what drives him. And the people around him are the ones that are grounded, or the realist. Helena, obviously. She knocked him out. She's the one that, put him on this one. And people want him dead. We saw how much people want him dead, not only on the ship, but we saw what happened to Felix. And he has some regret a little bit later. Go ahead, Jack.
I would just say counterpoint, but we also saw on the ship how some people adored. We saw two different reactions. We had some people that were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be in your presence." And then we saw people that were spitting on him. And then Bryce even took a slug at him. So we had two different
man, he
types.
didn't take a slug. He took him out.
Yeah. And I have a thing about that. So, but I just want to show that there were two different reactions to him being on board. Some people really praised the fact that he was there, and then there's some people that just loathed the fact that they were there. And I'm wondering if that's now a premise to a division.
It is. I was going to say that it's going to be a divisive thing come later. I don't know if that will end in the cliffhanger, but Helena's going to push it, and they're going to probably divide that way, maybe. And Kelly right now is the wild card, because she's up to something, and we just don't know what it is. But I don't know. She's like, every time they want to do, they make a breakthrough on looking at that at Arc
video
1, she gets all nervous, like, "How'd you do that? How'd you get that video?"
So here are my theories. I think Kelly's from Arc 15 and ended up being in Arc 3 somehow.
Why?
Because she doesn't want anything dealing with the video. She wants anything that as soon as they get close to trying to decipher that video, she wants to pretty much, "Oh, how did you do that? Oh, you are smart." But I have a feeling she's either related to something with Arc 15 or she's from Arc 15. That's one.
By the way, how long has Arc 3 been in space?
About 5 years. Wait.
No, Arc 3 was probably around 6 months.
I'm sorry. No, actually, Arc 3 was 9 months. I apologize. That was 9 months.
How long was Arc 15 in space?
We don't know.
So okay, So when was the last time Felix saw his daughter?
Okay. I wonder if we're thinking the same thing, Richard. Well, it had to have been 5 years ago because that's when we established. I pointed that out to Michael that I was rewatching either the episode before or episode one.
You were looking at one again.
I was looking at episode 1 again, and they said it was 5 years and 5 or 9 days, some odd little figure. I like the little sarcasm that they have that they throw out odd numbers. Like we joked about it last week, right, Jag, where it was 3.2 months.
So how old was his daughter when he left?
8.
So 8 and 5. So that makes her too old to be his daughter.
Yeah, and that's the other. That was the other theory that somebody was saying that they think Kelly was the daughter.
But she's if it's only been 5 years, she would still be in her teens. I mean, still be a young kid. This is someone different. But I was just throwing it around. That's why I was asking to make sure I had my math right to see if Kelly could be like the older version. He doesn't recognize her because she's older now, and she's just, playing the old "I'm mad at Dad because he left me." But
I mean, that's a viable theory. I mean, that's been something that's discussed and been talked about out there.
And last week we talked about the doctor being effective when she did that surgery. Remember that? I think you brought it up, Jag, didn't you?
Yep.
And so it seemed like it was true because now it seems like she thinks she might have been still going through withdrawal when she did that surgery and may have killed that man.
And she was going back to see if she did it. And by the way, the actress really killed it on that scene when she's trying to figure out if she really did try to kill, and she was going through the steps, and I think she ended up thinking that it was her because she didn't stop the bleeding fast enough or something. And
she was shaking, she said all the time.
She was shaking, and
so
then that's when we had the 2 kids run in and leave it to the kids. They just think without filter. And Agnes just says, "Hey, the time for me to take this body to compost." And I loved her. She said it in double meaning, and I didn't get it until later when she said which was the title of the episode, every single life matters, or every single person matters.
Every single person matters.
And the way she said it is, first you're thinking about like when you vote or anything like that, every single person matters, right? Everybody's opinion matters, everything else. But I also thought, on terms of the arc, they're losing people. On Arc 3, they lost a whole bunch of people. Arc 1, they lost a whole bunch of people. Arc 2, this, from the story we got, vaporized except for Mr. Michael there. We're losing a lot of people, and these are the people that we're trying to take to Proc Speed to repopulate. And that I got her, every single person mattered in that feeling, that deep feeling of we're losing people, folks, and we can't afford to keep losing people. Every single person matters. And that was the way I got her feeling of how
that is plausible. Last week I mentioned that Bryce had to hurry up and tap that. And it was nice to see that at the beginning of the show, he did tap that. So he did listen to me. He knew what I said. He said, "You got to tap that." So,
yes. And then we find out, and we were talking about this now that you brought up Bryce. So we were talking about how he was sick. And all of a sudden, it looks like there may be a cure in Arc 3 in the archives. Yeah. So I was thinking it was something that they would find out with the genetics, but maybe it is something similar to that. But they did mention the possibility of some kind of cure on Arc 3's archives. So,
did you get? Go ahead. No, go ahead, Richard.
I just wanted to bring up the fact that I got tired of the same old trope about him. I've looked for all my cures. Blah blah blah. I'm done. I'm gonna die. Blah 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 blah. Instead of forget what he says. If that lady wants to go find out, she should just go anyway and say, "Well, fuck you. I'm going to go. You just sit back and whine like a little bitch." But I'm sorry about the language there. But still,
we'll mooch you. Don't worry about it.
But I'm just saying that, he fought it, and it's still going to happen. No matter, because we've seen this thing before. So, because I think you mentioned it last. Who had mentioned it last week that they will probably find a cure before this even came up? Is that you, Jag?
Yeah, I think I wrote the show now.
I guess I should ask you.
I guess no, but I was the one that thought that there was just no way. He's a main character. He's one of the main three characters on the ship. I mean, it would be completely weird at the very end if one of them main died. But we've seen it before where a main character, or at least we think a main character is going to get it, and then there's somehow they get revived or something. Look what happened with Spock in the Star Trek movie. So I'm thinking, yes, I'm sorry, I can't do that, so I'll do it that way. But I have to say he's one of the main characters. So if he does die, there's going to be a way to bring him back. But I think that they mentioned Arc 3 had a cure or a potential cure.
Yeah.
Did you get that part where Bryce met Trust in the command room and he blamed him directly by saying, "It's because of you I have my death sentence by the stuff that you put into the atmosphere"? I'm paraphrasing, but he did say something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
He doesn't
and then
like Trust.
Just flat out cold cocked him.
So let me bring a little thing back where I said that I thought Trust was a clone. And I'm going to bring up a couple of things in my notes that I have written on my side here. So when they wake him up and they go tour with Lane, they go tour the Ark room. They come down to the honeybees, and they're actually the butterflies that he said because the honeybees were extinct, that the butterflies are the ones that he feels are part of the toolbox that will be in what they need to repopulate. And I'm gonna actually quote what he said when Lane said, "How come this wasn't part of our orientation?" And William says, "Only high-level crew were reading on it. Humans tend to get a little touchy on the subject of genetics." So there was that one. Later on, let's fast forward to where they're sitting in the security room, and Helena says there should have been a parade. There should have been some kind of, party that the fact that we're on board. This one I didn't get a chance to put the paraphrase, but he said that humans are very what do they call it? Were they very vindictive? They're just very mean towards the people that the way they behave. The two times that he said that, he said humans. He's saying humans. So let's go down to what you just mentioned earlier, Roger, where Bryce hit him like really hard on the bridge.
Humans touchy when it comes to genetics.
Yes, but remember when he hit Bryce hit him, and he hit him pretty good, and he fell, but there was no blemish, there was no blood,
and he did knock him out.
He recovered quickly, and that reminded me of the way Garnett was taking the punches in the mess room when the fight broke out. So I'm thinking he's either a clone, an advanced human, some kind of genetically kind of enhanced being, and he may have not been a clone that was just accidentally brought on board. We all know Helena did it, but I'm still convinced that there must be something behind William, that he's some kind of an advanced being or some kind of an advanced humanoid, robot, android, or something, because he was very just the way he reacted to that. And Bryce is not like like me, like a weakling. He's pretty built. So the fact that he was able to absorb that hit is something I caught.
I think that he's been hit so much that by now he can take a punch.
Oh, that's true. Well, not necessarily, because remember we found out Felix was the one security guarding him, and he took a bullet.
That is an interesting scenario, and so does that make Helena a clone too?
Could.
Or is she or doesn't she mind being married to a clone? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how far this conspiracy goes.
And by the way, this is just a theory. I have no idea that this.
I know,
but it was just the things that I caught, and
I know.
and the fact that it was just interesting that when Helena says hi Felix, and they were just so really one-to-one with him and everything, and then we find out that he was really part of that team, even though he almost didn't want to be a part of that team. He almost gave that impression that he didn't really like being the security for that. So it was interesting. We were also introduced to Evelyn Maddox, who is the people that took
real
over
quick here.
Trust.
I've noticed his guns too.
Oh, who?
So yeah.
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, Marcia.
Hi, Marcia. She's one
hey,
of our. She's from our group.
I
by
mean,
the way.
he likes
Thank
to wear
you.
those tight shirts. So I mean, you know,
If-
everything. I mean, his, you know, he's pure testosterone. That's for sure.
Let me interrupt. If Bobby Nash is still with us, Bobby, you're an author. Let us know if you are. Let us know if you're still with us. You want to join us, Bobby? If you're watching this program, come and join us, Mr. Nash, Mr. Author Supremo.
Well,
And
I'm
for
hoping
everyone
he's
else in
caught
the
up
chat,
now.
oh, that's right. Well, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Marcia, thanks for the comments. Everyone else in the chat room, let us know who you are, where you hail from. It's nice to know. I'm out here in Southern California. Michael is a capitalist. Where?
Oh, right next to you, Roger.
Haha, he's the nation's capital, so we're on the opposite ends. Richard is over where? Where in God's Ohio? Where are you, Richard?
Yeah, Ohio.
All right, and Jag, where are you from, man?
San
Where are
Antonio.
you at?
Me, San Antonio.
San Antonio, Texas.
Yes.
All
San
right,
Antonio,
folks.
Texas.
Like I say, let us know who you're wanting to hail from. It's kind of nice to know. But sorry for
And
the
don't
interruption
forget
on
to hit
that.
that subscribe button, like button, and that bell notification.
Here we go. More cow.
So you know,
More cowbell.
do yourself a favor and do all three.
Yes, and then you'll know about our next podcast with Alicia.
Confirmed.
With Alicia.
Yes.
Stacey
This
Oh,
Reed.
Tuesday,
Stacey-
11 a.m.
Stacey
Pacific
Reed.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at that at 2 p.m. going 2 p.m. That doesn't sound right, but it
When
is
they're
what
in
it
the
is,
UK,
right?
it is.
That's a
Yeah.
UK.
Are you gentlemen going to join us for that interview?
I'm planning on it.
Jag?
Well, I guess so. You got to see it from my point of view. 2 months ago, I was in a chat room talking to her through chat. Like Dean Devlin, the very first day of the premiere, had a live stream with all of them there, and I'm typing away questions for the. And now I'm going to be part. That just blows my mind right now to be part of that. That's just amazing. That's just amazing. Yeah.
Well, I've been trying to find information on her, and I can't find as much as I usually can. But
No, there's not much out there. No.
so I mean, as far as me being,
She's done a lot of videos. She has.
Oh,
yeah,
a lot
but
of
I'm just
She's done a lot of interviews.
with
yes.
Yes.
Adams.
I'm just saying
they've
that you
done.
know, I haven't. When you try to find information, all you know is that she's from Zimbabwe, and that's about it. So, and I think it gives her height. I don't know, but anyway, I have to keep continuing on my quest to find some more info.
So I've seen a lot of those. You might want to check out the interviews. She's done quite a few of them, and she does, kind of give a little bit of a history of how she started and everything. It's really, really impressive that she was, and she did, by the way, an exceptional job with this episode. I felt bad for her because Kelly, right? She's right in the middle now between Angus and Alicia.
Yeah.
And so I felt kind of bad for her and her character because of the fact of how she's now feeling like the third wheel on the arc with now Kelly. And so,
Kelly knows exactly what she's doing.
Oh,
and if we follow on a tangent, what Jag said earlier about her being from Arc 15, or I'm not sure if Richard said, so I apologize. But I did catch right away that when they mentioned Arc 15, she actually got a tad nervous in her reaction. It seemed like it. So I get everything you say, and I'm all right with that. Now, if Michael and I were surmising a few weeks ago that the reason why they're all fighting, or while these other ships are being taken out, is because they've already made it to Proxima B. And there's an issue of maybe resources, and they're taking out all the others. That's an extension, Michael, of what you and I were talking about.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, they may not have the library that's in Arc 1. And Kelly doesn't know that, but she's going for the guy that made the food. I wonder, Michael, do you think that follows a bit elegantly with something we were talking about?
Well, I think it does. And I think I've got a lag. So
You're right, brother. You're in the nation's capital.
Yeah, no, and you were, you're Arc 2. You're not even supposed to be here.
I'm not
So,
Oh, there is. Yeah, the explosion barely filtering towards us. Sorry, Mike.
yeah, yeah.
But I
You're
noticed that too.
you're
That
time
she
delayed.
was she's very interested in learning how he's growing crap.
And
So
Yeah,
probably because
literally.
they don't have any.
well, yeah, because she was. I mean, she was really going to town on that strawberry, and she wanted to know more info. So there, you might be. You might be right about that, Raj. That maybe somebody is there, but if they want resources and Angus is learning how to grow shit, they're going to need that. They're going to need them to make it then. So he can help them on that planet, maybe. But I don't know. Kelly is right now a mystery person, and it's going to blow up somehow.
An armed mystery person.
Well, that's true.
Yes.
You're right about that. So,
However, they did show the food manifest from Arc 3, though. There's a scene where they show on screen, I think it was in episode 7, they had a lot of food. The reason I know that because they had quite some of my favorite food listed on that, and it was a quick shot. So I'm curious why she's so interested in the food of the growing of it if they had food stores on Arc 3.
Okay, check this out. She was the lone survivor set by Arc 15 to make sure that she can get aboard Arc 1 and see if she can discover secrets. She's been deliberately sent there by the Arc 15. Because look, guys, she said, and this is something we touched upon a little bit. She said, we never leave the room, yet all of us, the mess hall, and yet they were dead. And then the other people were in the cafeteria or whatever, in sick bay.
Infirmary.
And it looked like they OD'd. And yet there were more of them. I think that's because she made it look that way.
oh my God, kissy, huh? Yeah, okay.
Kissy red for Angus.
Oh, you know what? When Jag was talking about, and Richard were talking about the whole deal with the doctor, my notes were doctor begins autopsy. She blames herself. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because of her guilt. She's following the steps and she's blaming herself. She sees it that way. The guy was stabbed, man. He was beaten.
He was beaten. This guy was beaten.
Wait a minute.
But Roger, let's go back.
I thought this is the guy that had a stab.
That was the guy they found in the hallway. Yeah. This guy had internal bleeding.
Roger, let's go back to you saying Kelly was on 15, went to 3 to get on 1. How would they know that 1 is going to even show up?
Well, one. Hang on. 1 took off first.
Yes, they know where it's going. They're the only one that knows, and for whatever reason, they don't know. Maybe they're looking for trust. Maybe Maddox is on 15.
But how do they know that? Well, anyway, it just.
Hang on.
They would not know that they need to look for uranium, whatever it's called.
238.
They wouldn't know they have to go out of their way to look for this stuff. So I mean,
But just know that just so I know it gets a little confusing, but just know that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 through 15 knew that Arc 1 already took off. They were the first ones to go.
Well, I don't know if 2 actually did know.
But Arc 1 had to go off course to find the uranium. I mean, they had to do that so they could get back to get their speed back. So I don't know. Maybe you're right, but it just seems like it would take a lot of planning to figure this out. But I guess if 15, if they could somehow sense the sensors find them, and they have that warp capability, I guess they could fly back and forth and catch them whenever they wanted to, since Arc 1 is not, that fast.
Well, and Arc 1 apparently we saw, because they tried faster than light, and it failed about halfway through, or right as soon as it started. And that was on the writer's part, that was a great reference to how Arc 2 may have vaporized. Because remember, this is Arc 1 trying to get retrofitted engines from Arc 3, I'm sorry. And so they put it in Arc 1 and they tried to retrofit and everything else, and it didn't work right. And William was there and they said they had this fail safe. And they got out of that FTL. And that to me was personifying the fact that Arc 2 may have vaporized in the process, because Arc 1 and Arc 3 was successful. Arc 1 wasn't, but only because William Trust was there to help avoid the potential issue. And Arc 2 didn't make it, according to Kelly. And that makes sense in the timeline that Arc 1 had trouble, but only because William fixed it. Otherwise, they may have faced the same demise as Arc 2 did, because Arc 2 was basically the guinea pig arc and trying to figure out the faster than light. So I thought the writing was good on that.
Well, I just think they had the emergency brake still on, and that was holding them back. So, but do you think the
dampeners had not been engaged yet?
Yeah. Do you think that they will eventually fix that FTL to get the? I mean, can Trust fix it, or will it take Alicia?
He opened that fail safe that no one knew about. Remember when even Eva said, I didn't know that was there, and she said, well, yeah, you were not supposed to be in charge. So even Eva didn't know the whole deal about that keyboard came out and that little flip switch did. Even she didn't know about it. So I don't know. I don't think they would have been able to have recovered the way they did.
Well, I know that he came and saved the day, but eventually I think they'll get that thing to work because they're going to have to.
I'm curious where they ended, though. Where did they end up? That's where I'm curious, because they were in FTL for a little bit. So even in the process of trying to figure it out and try to stop it, how far did they go? I don't think they made Prox V, but I'm just curious where they ended up.
Well, they didn't say. They didn't say how much time they gained either. Well, so maybe, I guess we'll find out. I mean, everything is coming. Everything is coming to a head. And
I'll be honest with you, I was expecting more of an Arc 15 arc with it. No pun intended. Arc 15 arc. I was expecting more story with Arc 15, but I know that one. By the way, I'm groaning on that one myself. But it looks like this is all push.
A 15 may still show up with that spider.
No. I think this is where it's pushing up to perhaps the next episode or the episode after, where it is pushing towards it. I think this was more just a reveal of Trust, his background, Evelyn Maddox, who apparently ousted the Trust. So there's obviously some anger there between the Maddox and Trust. Maddox, who developed the FTL when even Trust was getting close, but Maddox is the one that actually did it. So I think this was more of a foundation episode of additional characters of the Trusts. And I think we're going to move forward to potentially that mutiny. Because look what happened with Lane at the end. Well, we find out Garnet gets rid of Lane from the bridge, as Roger, I believe, alluded to earlier. Garnet got rid of, or was it Richard? But one of you all said exactly what happened, that Lane got removed from the bridge. And it was because he kept the secret that, Garnet feel bad for. And they didn't trust him. Here's the thing, though. When Bryce hit Trust, and they removed him from the bridge, why didn't Garnet also strip him from his rank and put him off the bridge as well?
Why?
I'm sorry?
Why?
That's my question.
Why would she?
Well, she struck the owner. She struck the guy that made the arc. Oh, the guy that made the arc. He built
former owner.
Well, and at least on this ship, he's the owner.
Well, look. Sometimes those guns get in the way of big decisions. So you don't want those guns leaving the bridge. And maybe she felt he had a right to take a swing if that gave him a disease. That was just an interesting. I'm not making a big deal. I just thought it was interesting that she went after Lane a little bit more than she did with Bryce. Well, Lane kept it a secret, and he knew that. Well, Lane did a little bit more than just hit him.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Michael? Do you think he deserved that hit?
Okay, go ahead, Michael.
Did
Trust deserve the hit from Bryce?
Yes.
See?
Okay,
I think the captain saw the same thing.
Okay,
but I understand what you're saying, Jag. But he did have to leave the bridge. He couldn't just stay there and pat himself on the back. I mean, he had to leave.
He left by his own volition.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
No, they actually removed him.
Oh, I thought
they removed him. Yeah, he had to be removed.
Removed who? Bryce or Lane?
Bryce.
So Bryce was removed.
Bryce hit him, and then Bryce was removed.
Yes.
Because he hit him. And then he came back a few seconds later anyway, so I don't know. It didn't do much. That's that.
But I do. I see what you're saying because maybe he was more acting out of anger of the fact what Trust had done to him personally. So
Yeah, but
I
plus
kind of
she's
see
also
that.
by now she's used to him just doing what going off the handle sometimes and doing what he wants to do.
That's true.
But still, I'm still saying she's blinded by the guns, or maybe the 6-pack. I don't know.
I don't know.
But
But
yeah, but
I
we,
did
but
see that. But anyway, I think what she did with Garnett, with what Garnett did with Lane, I thought that was, yeah, I thought that was justified because you can't trust him now.
well, he'll work out. He'll do either. He'll this might be part. I don't anyway. This might be a thing coming later when there's plot. This divisive thing comes in. Which side? Maybe he does something that stupid. But anyway, Roger,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I'm actually watching the scene where Felix is holding Bryce back.
Oh, I
Because
thought you were. I thought you were watching squirrels.
No, you're funny. No, I thought so. He left on his own.
Did he?
Okay.
Did
Oh,
he?
wow. Yeah, he left. Someone was following him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she said he had to leave the bridge. I mean, he didn't.
Yeah.
But
It-
anyway,
He said he left the bridge. By the way,
Roger-
just to
I'm leaving on my own.
never
and
mind.
I just
Roger,
to
go ahead, Jag.
I was just gonna say, just to prepare for this show, I actually watched the show 4 times. So,
Holy
Oh,
shit!
I was in my second one. Michael
But-
did
I
text
was
me.
in my 1.5.
but that doesn't mean I know everything.
No, but anyway, what other note do you have to get to, Raj?
Well, okay. I'm not sure if I have other notes, but
Well, we couldn't have covered them all, did we?
no, we didn't. And I do want to say that again, going back to the doctor where she did it, I really thought that she was not in the right frame of mind. She blames herself, and then Angus. We talked about this quickly. Angus and Kelly show up for the body. Now Angus wasn't thinking. He insulted both women. Kelly, whether she was insulted or not, the friend, and he referred to the body as organic matter. See, I was actually tuned out by Angus. I actually disliked the character at that moment. I know he's youthful. I know what he's done, but I'm like, dude, how insensitive can you be?
But he's a young
And
kid,
I
And he's-
get that, but
he's pumped, and he's going to learn. Let him, it's a wonder. What? Maybe he should have been bitch slapped or something. But I mean, I'm
he's
just
probably
saying.
going to.
But the thing is,
Okay, but then here's the thing, Richard. I get that, but then
the thing is, Kelly still was look. Kelly was still. I mean, I think she was, but then again, she got back on mission.
Okay, well, sticking with that, if I may, hold that thought, Richard. He's being the juvenile. He's saying sorry to Kelly and everything, but then he doubles down. Okay, and he says, but it's just a body. I'm sorry, but it's just a body. And that's where she snaps. And I wrote it every period, single period, person period matters. Get out. Okay. I really feel that he did not, act smartly. So I've spoken to the real life person. I like the guy. But at that moment, I did not like the character. I genuinely did not. Marsha has
that
some
he did a good job. But
Yes,
the
he
thing
did. I
is,
think
the
he
thing
had
is
demoted-
also he could be also getting jaded because he's been doing it for how long now with how many people. So
Oh, Marsha! I think they had Lane demoted to give Trust someone on his side. Woo! Okay, all right. And then also, I agree, totally cruel about the NOR for Angus. Yeah. But anyway, that was an important moment. And then after that, William and Helena have a serious conversation. And then it says, look, you'll still be installed as its leader. Okay. She made that clear. She's assuaging his ego. There is a plan. What do you mean installed as the leader? All right. So there are a lot of political parties, a lot of operatives, a lot of people involved on this. Lane then says, I need to protect you. William said, but I saved the human race. That arrogant pig. And then they talk about who should be there. And then they said the captain, this other person, and an ensign should be here. Says, yeah, Trent died. I'm the only one you can trust. Trust. And I guess he really is stuttering there. Now, did you notice, and this may lead to what Richard and Jag were talking about earlier when it comes to William, as what I called Act 3 in the commercial break, William is just circling like an uncontrollable power.
Another
and
Kelly.
she is just calm, seated there, just done right there. And I believe this is where then they switch to, we've been doing circles all day. Okay, did you guys notice how William was going back and forth being accused of being in circles? And then Felix says, we've been doing circles all day. Okay, last time he was here and they went to the flashback is when he was chasing Trent. And it was a nice touch by the writers that when Trent was running, he did look in the direction of where that room was. And I think he missteps. So did he deliberately try to lead him away? Or did he like, oh shit, it was down that hall? What? There's a little bit of doubt there. But, right after that, they switch to the, I don't know if you have any comments on that, but then they go to the engineer scene, Eva. I'm going to go with Eva and Alicia right now. She's all getting all emotional about, did you know that due to the Apollo or the space program, they invented all of these arcane themes? And did you know that pretty much the scratch resistant glasses were invented from the space program? That's kind of cool. They were trying to do some water project. You guys got that, right?
Mm-hmm. And the
Yeah,
writer
there were a lot
said,
of things
by
that
the way,
came from the shuttle program.
and the writer
space program.
said, Rebecca Rosenberg was the one that wrote this episode, and she tweeted that she tried to put that kind of in there, that some of the stuff that we have now is based on stuff that was looked at for a different purpose. And so she tried to put some of that in the episode, and I thought that was pretty cool that they mentioned that.
And they mentioned from the 1980s, which was kind of
Yes.
neat.
Yeah.
And
if you remember Forrest Gump, that's how Lieutenant Dan got his legs. It's on the shuttle program.
That's right. We went to a scene a little bit later where Angus was hanging with his new best friend Kelly, and she doesn't like it.
Alicia. Yeah.
Yep. They were talking then about no sector OT. They were checking the plans, and then the doctor goes to visit the counselor. Interesting scene. One damn mole. And she says, wait, is this how you begin a session? Oh, you're here for a session? She says, yeah, I'm here for a session. Do you talk about yourself? And I was thinking about my psychiatrist. And yeah, that's pretty much the way it is. There are times that I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Who's listening to whom? Should we split my copay? But that's just a personal comment.
I forgot. You were going by there kind of quickly, but go ahead. I'll bring it on. I'll remember it again. You said something in that.
She says, I think I kissed
is that the part? Was that earlier when they wanted her to go over the footage and she didn't want to go through it again? Because they wanted her to look at the footage from the Arc 3, and she didn't want to do it again. She didn't want to have nothing to do with helping them get that footage or into
that was
like in Act 1. That was early on.
That was early on.
So she's okay. But okay, now we're moving on to okay, go ahead.
Actually, we can go back to that because
no, I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss that. I mean, I think we already discussed that earlier on. We already went through it, but
did you guys get the humor between Eva and Bryce at the very beginning after the episode begins, where they cannot find Lane? He says, "Hey, man, he just saved someone's life. You know,
it might be in bed. Bed. Yeah. She goes like that."
That was really funny. There was another joke between the two, and I think she says just sex one time, and he's the one talking about it like the roles have switched. Not that it has or it matters, but they did. And if you notice, she is looking deep into his eyes.
Yeah.
And yet she says, nope, just sex. Nope, one time. No, she's not smitten. she's all in. Jag?
Well,
I
they
agree.
always say she's probably going to say that. I mean, that reminds me
So
of
Marcia,
the Office when Dwight had the affair with Angela, and Angela kept saying, "This is the last time, Dwight. This is the last time." And then sneak out in the warehouse and do it again. So I
Marcia
feel
brought.
this is going to be an ongoing thing.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I'm reading what Marcia's saying, and it's exactly what I was about to say. So she goes to Kat to talk about the whole drug addiction, and then Kat admits that she has an issue with drugs as well.
Well,
And then wait, and then she asks Kat, and Kat says, actually, Kat comes back and says, "Well, you know what? We're going forward. I'll just keep your medicine, and I'll just dole it out as you need it." That's like me saying, "I'll be the fox, and I'm going to take care of your chickens." And I thought that was pretty. That was quite like for the doctor to agree. I would have thought from the beginning, from the very beginning, when we found out she had an addiction to the medicine, to the drugs, she was relying on Strickland and his support and helping her out. I would have thought, and it also makes uh, logical sense since he's head of security, that he would be the one to be able to lock the medicine more securely than Kat. So I thought it was kind of interesting that Kat offered the doctor to hold the medicine for her to kind of help her with her addiction.
Well,
And
she
yet
actually
she's
Well,
not
I
really
don't. I
qualified.
don't think
said,
Kat
"I'll
is
dole
this
it out for
airhead
you."
blonde either. I think she has an
she's not.
agenda too. So come on.
She stated, she says, "I'll dole it out for you." So I thought she was genuinely trying to help her, or at least come across as trying to help her as being a pharmacist. You're the doctor. I have my role here. I'll be the pharmacist. That's the impression that I got that she was trying to get. Now, remember, in that same conversation, she said, Strickland has the drugs, but we got more drugs from Mark III, and I have them. So it's at that point where she says, well, then maybe I'll dole them out for you instead.
I just thought it was kind of. I'm with Marcia in that. Why didn't that? If she really wants to try not to get addicted, why deal with Kat? Now, I also agree with Richard, where he says that I don't think Kat is what it is or what she is, and we found that out later in the episode.
No, and later in the episode, and also it makes me wonder if she was manipulating the doctor because this is what she wanted.
Well, that's what I was kind of trying to allude to, Michael.
Yeah,
I think she was trying to win the doctor over by saying, "Okay, I get you. Don't worry, I'll be your pharmacist."
I went through therapy at the best place I could afford, so I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that decision would be made. I think she would have stayed with Strickland since he has some background instead of giving it to.
Well, she's manipulating.
I know. Still, she's a doctor, and she can't be that out of it. Where she says, "Okay, Kat."
Yeah. Oh no.
I am having trouble with that myself. I am having trouble.
Yeah.
To be this educated, she's not compared to everyone. She would be command staff. Think of all the other programs that we've seen, Star Trek, whatever. She's a doctor. She's not like the others that are lieutenants and ensigns. So I'm having trouble with the weakness that she's, but I understand for days, if not weeks, she was the only one.
Well,
I get that too, okay?
Well, speaking of Star Trek, Dr. McCoy could have gotten rid of that mole.
Okay.
Now, it's a prickle.
But it wasn't a mole.
It wasn't a mole.
Okay, there's a lot in there, and I was going to talk about that where she says, "Oh, I want this, this mole taken out," and at the very end she says, "It's not a mole, it's a freckle." Okay,
what's the difference?
Exactly.
Yeah, but still, McCoy still could have got rid of it.
See, her thing was, it doesn't matter what's the difference. So it is. I'm not sure what, but that is going to come back later. Her line of what's the difference?
The difference.
Well, it's way too loaded. They're talking about this. Yeah, there's more to it.
And that's what I love about the writing.
Yeah,
I love the writing of the show because you have to pick it apart, and then you have to then try to see if it actually fits. And, don't even get me started, Marsha, on the Juno project because I caught that too.
Bad start.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying, don't get me started because I actually had to look that up on the actual online to see what Juno stood for. She is the wife of Jupiter. She is the queen of the heavens. She is related to women in marriage and birth and all that stuff. So this really got my mind going with this whole episode, with the whole idea with the butterflies, the whole idea of the cloning and everything else, and everything with Cat, and then mentioning the Juno project. And Richard said she is probably more, and I think was it Richard or Roger? That's one of these. I'm going to keep an eye on who's saying what.
Well, they both
But
start with
one
R.
of them said Cat was not what she is, and why would William trust Cat to be in charge of a project and something as called Juno?
'Cause she's
So, well, that
So,
too.
Look,
even
once
if
he
Freckle was
emerges
hot.
from this blondie, I'm the counselor thing, and turns on her 7 of 9 persona,
Yeah.
then we'll see what's going. I think it's going to be. I mean, yeah. There's
But that
so
was
many,
interesting because even
there's so
Kat
many
said,
parts in
I
play
don't want
right
to talk
now.
about work. I don't want to talk work right now, is what she told William.
Let me interrupt. To the comments in the chat room, no. I've been asking several people already to identify themselves. We do have quite a few people watching us, but a lot of people are just watching because they're listening. So, folks, once again, let us know who you are and where you hail from. We'd love to know.
And I appreciate the people from the fan group showing up.
Oh,
Marcia's
yes,
part
we
of it.
do.
Elizabeth is part of it. So, Elizabeth, in case you missed it, I did mention alcoholics at the beginning. So just want to make sure that we're good.
Oh, so Elizabeth
It was
is.
Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth. Were you the one that commented on our page about the alcoholics? I believe you were. And I did put a like. Thank you.
And by the way, she's a great leader and a great fan of the show, and she does a lot. She does a lot. So, but yes, so Kat being in charge of Juno, that was also a very interesting little tidbit of a morsel that we have to look forward to. I think, like I said, I'm going down by my notes. I think the failure of the FTL, I think goes back to, except for the lone survivor here, I think it goes back to the potential issue of Arc 2 vaporizing, as Kelly said. But
And they might have
because they
made a
did
change
have
in the design
yeah,
that Arc 1 does not have.
right. Because remember, she said retrofit
Yes.
for Arc 3.
Yes.
So I think that kind of was a hint towards the fact that in the process of perfecting faster than light, Arc 1 suffered, but they were lucky because William was there to know the back end of it, because even Eva didn't know. So I think that's what saved that. The allegiance, let's not forget the allegiance, now that we're kind of towards the end, the allegiance of Lane going back to trust, saying, yes, I'm here for whatever you need. And, I'm going to be on the fence on that one because I don't know if Lane's not also trying to do something on his own, and maybe he's doing something that maybe Garnett told him in secret, and they're now playing this whole full side, charade in front of everybody so that they can gain some additional information they normally wouldn't. And I'm still going back a couple of episodes as to why Garnett did not allow Kat on the bridge. And I'm wondering if she knows something about Kat and trust.
She's not a bridge member.
Well,
she did make that clear. If you want to watch the stellar event, you need to go to wherever it is, the atrium or whatever.
Because remember, Picard didn't want kids on his bridge. Took a long time for Wesley to be able to be on that bridge. So
I think Kat's older than Garnett.
But let's go back to episode 2.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but still, she is not a bridge crew member.
I agree.
But episode 2, Garnett essentially went up to Kat and said, I want you to start being the morale counselor, therapist person on the ship. She's an Neelix. Yeah.
Yes. Now, folks, let's back up a little bit.
A much better version of Neelix.
In many ways. Let's back up a little bit before the whole Lane thing. Now, after he talks about the butterfly, and thank you, Jack, for all that, he says, welcome to the toolbox. Again, all this. Then they see Felix walking in. Hello, Felix, Helena says. Wonderful to see you again. And then there's the moment where, boom, he gets, yeah, actually, I do say Bryce was escorted off the bridge, so I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Now, they went into the conference room after that entire skirmish, and then Felix says, I almost wish I hadn't saved your lives. Okay, there's some regret there. And then that's where the joke happened a little bit earlier when Felix's first stays there. You don't even think about it. But there was a conversation where I think Felix says, it's your fault, Helena. And I was writing rather quickly because I was running out of time. And then she says, I'm sorry about your family. You know, he said, yeah, well, I saved yours. And I almost wish I hadn't saved your lives.
And then she comes back and says, how do you know that if you had stayed on Earth, you wouldn't be dead with them as well, or something to that effect?
It was something to that effect, yes.
Yeah.
Comments from the illustrious group?
I was just going to say they obviously have some bad blood between them, and I think he just regrets the fact that he was forced to be on the Ark. He wanted to be with the family.
There's bad blood between him and Trust, it looks like. But Helena, she was like, I'm glad it's you. And she even says, I feel just fine if Felix is the one protected, assigned to us for protection.
So I'm wondering if there's a reverse kind of escapades between her and Felix.
Oh, right. I got that idea too, that there was some kind of shenanigans going on between them too.
Am I that damn naive? Shit.
But because she acted like she knew him really well. So
and liked him. Is that your dog again? Yes. Hi. Nice to see your dog.
It's not my dog. It's the rat dog.
So in a way, we've got this crazy soap opera going on too. So.
Yeah. And I don't think maybe it was. I think Helena probably was the alpha in the potential relationship between her and Felix. Or, it could be related. Yeah. And I think the dogs agree. So,
yep.
But I think there's more to that story too.
Yeah. Michael, what's on your mind? You've been silent for a long time.
Well, he's on Arc 2. He doesn't even exist.
On Arc 2. I'm not supposed to be here. So. No, I
genuinely is Stardust.
Well, pretty much, yeah. Let's go to another episode from something else. I don't know. I was surprised with Felix's attitude, saying when he said, "I wish I hadn't saved you." I just thought that was like, oh, that's kind of wild. But I mean, maybe he's related to her. Maybe they did have I never thought they had a thing for each other. I just thought he was doing his job, and after all the events that happened afterwards, that he was sorry he saved him. That's the only thing I thought of it. I didn't think of all these other scenarios.
Yeah, it's the Ark, the Love Boat version. That's what we're trying to do here.
Well, obviously, yes.
Well, I guess I was just trying to get the way they talk to each other. Their inflections when they talk to each other.
I'm with Richard that I thought Helena was just a little bit too familiar with Felix.
And I'm thinking if they're related, that could be kind of awkward, being that kind of familiar. It seemed like, unless they're both from West Virginia. But other than that,
But this is what happens when you have character-driven episodes where we now have all these different characters introduced and their backstories. And so now you're trying to piece it together with the existing ones. So, and yes, I have a twisted mind.
Yes, we don't. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's why we're here. Even Michael.
Well, Michael's a vaporized mind right now. So
you vapo dust.
He vapo. But I think like I said, I expected a little bit more for Arc 15, but I really like the background from that we had from trusts. The little mention I noticed when they had the um, was it episode 7 when they had the module? They were trying to take it from Arc 3 into Arc 1, and that's when the whole ship went self-destruct. I noticed the name Maddox, so it was great to see a person's name attached to it, and basically a company that took over. And it was nice to see how the trusts were essentially thrown out of their own building, and that's how she decided to go ahead and sedate him and bring him on the arc. So those little backstories where we're like, oh, we see the connection between Felix and the trusts. So that was pretty cool. Um, and I was expecting a little bit more of a character review with Kelly. It looks like she kind of took a little bit of a backseat with this one, but I can kind of see why, because of the whole trust, um, storyline. So hopefully with that,
Yeah.
I said it before and I said it last time.
Well, you're right. I think last episode was her episode where we introduce her, we get things, and now with the trust coming on, but we're still getting tidbits of her, her not being. Well, we're thinking how she's like, what is she actually up to? So, I mean, there's just enough there that we know that she's still there. She may be the background this episode, but we still know that she's still buzzing around trying to find out whatever she's up to.
And then there's a question about what do we think on the POV of the entanglement. I think it was going to be natural that was going to happen, as it's an enclosed space. They're going somewhere for that purpose. I think eventually there would be some kind of attraction between the crew and so forth. Especially if it's the case now, it's going to be the case in 100 years. That was the whole idea behind the whole arc, is to preserve humankind. So I think some of this emotional entanglement was not necessarily necessary, but it was just going to be natural. That's my thought.
Richard?
I agree with Jag. I mean,
but shock.
I mean, I guess that's I know. Well, that's a surprise. Well, anyway, but.
Well, I'll bring up something totally different so we can get off on a different tangent.
Oh, yes, let's get off. Go ahead, okay. Michael.
What do you think about the preview of the next episode?
Yes.
When they said they found Arc 15?
So
and it sounded like they were going to go to Arc 15?
The premise that I saw, something said, and this is just the episode that the premise said, mutiny leads to a devastation or something to the effect that there's going to be a mutiny, and and there's going to be like some kind of life-threatening mutiny on board, and they do. That's why I'm kind of excited, because of what I think is coming up on the Nexus, where we're going to actually see a little bit more about Arc 15 and so forth. So that's why I said that I think this episode is just character development and laying the groundwork of what we're about to see in the next episode. And sadly, everybody cross your fingers, but tomorrow is, if we count tomorrow's episode, there's only 4 more episodes left in this season.
That's correct.
Yeah, there's only 4. I do want to comment myself that I really wasn't taken aback, because I really only seen one major entanglement, and that's between Bryce and Eva. So I really didn't. I think it's actually toned down. We've seen a few. Some of them are dead, the entanglements, but from my point of view,
started.
Yeah, that wasn't right, and some of them are flat out dead now. I wasn't really catching much of an entanglement. I thought it was actually even less so than on other programs. But I want to ask.
But what
Michael,
what about Alicia trying to get to Angus, but then Kelly's now in the way? She's I don't know what I don't.
Well, it only happened.
I don't think cock blocking her. She's cock blocking her. So what's going to happen? That's another entanglement you've got to think about.
Oh, Alicia and Kelly are gonna have it out.
So they're not gonna end up in a threesome.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Yeah, no, don't even go there.
I know. This is sci-fi, not HBO Max.
Anyway, okay, fair enough. Guys, check this out. I have to say that I've seen science fiction for 53 years that I've been on this earth and not on the Ark. But I have to tell you that when they made the jump, how many times have we seen on our favorite programs a warp core error, failure, whatever? This was a creative jump to light speed. And
Yep.
they hinted of the time dilation. And the
Oh,
time
that was
displacement.
awesome. That was
And then
incredible.
they still screwed with us within it. Things were still not right because it looked like, okay, follow our future selves. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute, we're the future self. It was well done. Michael, you and I have seen a buttload of science fiction. Richard, I know you and I have too. What are some of your thoughts on that? Then we'll get a jag on that one. Michael.
Well, to me, that was reminiscent of Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Yes,
when they went to warp the first time, and something similar happened. Now they didn't have the different timelines pop up, but it was, the slow mo, the weird things with the facial.
Well, they alluded to it. If I didn't have the money or the CGI to do that yet, like they do now, but yeah. But I was thinking the same thing too, Michael, when you started talking. Oh, he's going to bring it up first. But anyway, you're right.
I try. It's hard, but I try. But okay. I was on Ark too, so hey, I survived.
Yeah. So what else? So anyway, go ahead, Michael. What else you got for us?
No, that's enough for now.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Marcia. That's exactly that's the storyline for the episode for 9.
Yes.
That's thank you very much, Marcia, for that. So
Richard, your thoughts on it, and then we'll go to Jag for the whole warp thing. Well, the light speed.
No, I just agreed with Mike. I mean, that reminded me of the Star Trek motion picture or motionless picture, if you will. But it was very well done. I mean, I mean, especially for it only being a cable show. Okay, I mean, it's a sci-fi. They don't have a big, huge budget, but I thought it was well done and it made sense. And we still don't know how far they got while they were in this crazy bubble thing at all. They didn't say how close they were or anything. They just got out of it. They unleashed a parking brake and they stopped. But I'm just saying it was a well done scene, and you didn't know what was real and what was fake at sometimes. Okay, what? Because you had to really follow the ping pong ball.
Great point, Marcia. Jag, your thoughts?
Oh, I thought it was executed I've always been a fan of this show, just given the limited amount of budget that they've had and that they were able to execute something like that I had not seen. I think the closest thing I've seen is the movie Contact, something like that. But the fact that they went into, I just wish they had expanded it a little bit more to show more of the bridge crew and how they were dealing with it as well. But I think it was executed meticulously awesome in the fact, given the amount of money they don't have to do that. That they did an exceptional job. And I'm going to plug, and this is not even my plug, After the Ark via electricnow.tv.
Yes.
Because anybody watching this show now, live and or after, you are a fan of the Ark, you need to watch After the Ark. And it's on electricnow.tv after the show airs, usually around 2 a.m. Central Time, they'll post it. But anytime after the show, watch it, because that they talk with Rebecca Rosenberg on how she wrote that particular segment and how they had to go back, and they talked to, I believe, Stacy on how they had to go and redo the scene and how they redid everything like that. So if you're enjoying this show, the way we're talking about the Ark and the fact of how it was all done, After the Ark is the best inside behind the scenes kind of stuff of how, like example, I think they did this very well. Very well.
Yeah, it was. And I appreciate that, guys. So look, there's quite a bit. My notes are a bit thin at that point, but there's still a few other things that happened. We came upon the surprise of Kat and Trust. Looking at it, the writers are damn deliberate in letting us know. When Trust was traveling through the hallway, you saw Kat look down and say, oh, he's aboard. Okay. She was not happy to see him. She was Well, you know the face she made. What was it? She wasn't elated. I don't know if she was worried. What was it? Or is she on
maybe a disappointed surprise would
a
probably be the best way to.
disappointed surprise? Oh, okay, that's interesting. I like that, Richard. Because you saw the episode twice too, right? Or 1.5, right, brother? Just
Yeah,
like
I don't
me.
think I got to that part, but I know what you mean. And I know that's the thing. That's one of the mysteries. I mean, she gave this look like, I mean, did they have a relationship? But I mean, who knows how many?
Oh, good God, yes.
How many has he tapped? I don't know. I mean, this guy
Well,
seems to be a
remember,
machine.
she says that early in the episode. Look, I did this for you and I love you, even knowing you did anything that had a heartbeat. I'm paraphrasing.
I mean, I don't know how many. I don't know, but there probably is some history, whether it's good or bad. But
Helena says anything with the heartbeat, right?
yeah,
And she said anything with a heartbeat. So hey, there's a question on the point of view, Marcia. Anything with the heartbeat. I caught that. So
Yeah, but I wonder if maybe Helena was just being angry at the fact that she knew that he was doing it.
yes. Now, before I forget anything else, and before Michael comes back, I do want to make the announcement, folks. I do want to give out the tease that we are going to have a Sunday night episode after the season finale, and we have a little bit more than a tentative confirmation from Ryan Adams. Okay. You know who he is, Papa Angus, okay? He was really, really jazzed about yes, I did too when she was in the hallway, yes. Anyway, Trust wasn't picky. Actually, Elizabeth, dare I say, Trust isn't picky. He trusts.
He trusts everybody.
He's on a seafood diet.
oh jeez.
Yeah, he sees food. He's good.
You thought my joke earlier with the arc was bad? That was bad. Right.
You can take that however you want. I just mean on a seafood because if he sees it, he's going to go for it.
That's what I was
talking. That is. Yeah, sorry. I don't know where I was going to go with it, but
you were talking about the guests.
Yes, it's not a tentative. It's provided the schedule is there. He wants to be on with us for the season finale.
Who?
So I even try to dissuade him in the interview, and Michael will correct me if I'm wrong. I said twice. I said, look, we hear you. Thank you. We understand there be scheduling, things. No, man, I want to do the season finale with you guys. Remember that, Michael? It was funny. So
I assume you're talking about Ryan.
Yes, folks.
Okay.
We have between a tentative and a hard confirmation. As you know, when it comes to booking guests, that's pretty high, okay? And repeated by the guest. So we are really jazzed about that. Folks, if you have a chance to go back and listen to, it wasn't an interview, it was a conversation. And I think this is the only time that I'm going to brag about what we do on this network. And I think even Jag knows that now. We don't interview. We have conversations. And that, I think, is one of the things that makes us different. I'll tell you, most guests say they'll be on for us for 15 minutes. If you guys know the length of the interviews, none of them have been 15 minutes ever.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the most
Only
arrogant
one.
I'm ever going to be. I'm just going to say is, go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
No, there was just one. There was just one that was 15. That's all.
Okay, we don't need to go down that one, all right?
but Michael, he's got to be, and we love him. We love him because he's like that.
Oh, damn! I wasn't muted. Look at even Richard reacting to that one. Jeez. Anyway, folks, this is cool. It's absolutely awesome. I think we've gone through most of the episode. What are some of the recap thoughts? Maybe some theories that you may have? Because I got to give it to you, Jag. Look, there's no doubt you are catching a lot and you're seeing a lot more into it. But so is Richard. But I have to tell you that you're keeping score on the damn theories. I hate you, dude. All right, you're gonna throw our words back into our faces, but I'm only kidding. I'm impressed by that. You're following the theories.
Let me just say, when it comes to live tweeting during the show, and Dean will say something like, "What do y'all think is going to happen next?" Or "What do you think is going to happen here?" Or "What do you think is going to happen when he lands?" Or whatever.
Damn storyteller.
I get bitch slapped by the show every time because I say, "Oh, it's going to be this," or "It's going to be that," and it's no. So I just try to follow. I just try to follow what I think the show's doing, but I also try to know and respect the show where it's going, because it'll basically take you where it wants to go. But it's nice to be able to kind of say, well, you know what? I think Kelly's from Arc 15 and was found on Arc 3 because she did whatever. It's just good to see that you try to then make it more stick. I think still trust maybe a clone or an advanced human or a humanoid of some sort based on some of the quotes he said in this episode. But the show will do what it needs to do to do what it needs to do at the end. I'm just excited. I'm more of a passive watcher than trying to formulate any kind of theories because I just want to see where the show takes me. So that's just my thought.
What? What? Okay, I heard every damn word, and I'm flipping out over the repeated last phrase. I'm a passive watcher. That is such a line of crap. Richard? Is he a passive watcher?
Yeah, the guy that sees episode 4 times.
Yeah. Richard? Geez. Michael? Look at the little evil smile that Michael has, dude.
I don't even want to comment on that.
Yeah.
Because if he's a passive watcher, what are we?
You guys are good watchers. You're great watchers. I'm just a passive.
Just on the beach.
Yeah, I mean, but you guys catch stuff I don't catch.
But
so
you catch stuff that we do. This is the beauty of it. Sorry, Jag, and I've talked about this. When we were doing the House of the Dragon, our audience, our people in our group, they were guiding us, helping us. The stuff that we couldn't get, they were getting. Just like here, Marsha and Elizabeth right now in the chat room.
Great job.
This is what makes it the community. We all are contributing to this blasted story, believe it or not.
Yep. I agree. Except for Michael. He's not here.
Marsha, Elizabeth is asking, Marsha, is it wrong to say I truly have an ARC addiction? I laugh when the guys say they have watched all shit. And I have 1.5 and I have seen each 5 to 6.
So I have the doctor's version of the ARC. I have Arcaholics Anonymous, kind of, or whatever they call Arcaholics, or whatever it's going to be called, Architis, in that I do watch the show quite a bit. So, Marshall, I'm thankful that you showed up, and you're definitely a great fan. So thank you. Spread the word, y'all. I'll be doing it the same.
Let me tell you guys, the same invite goes to you. I don't think Jag actually believed us when we said it. We always do this, right, Richard? This is our shtick. It's our community. We're no different from you guys. We just put the damn camera on and say, oh, where is it? Okay, that's what we do. Yeah. And do you guys know what it means to us when you spend your time with us and comment in the chat room? Forgive me, but that's the best, man. You guys you're in the conversation with us, and the comments that you have, you guys got to join us. You girls have to join. Sorry, I'm old. Let it go. So we've had conversations with lots of people on, and it makes it much more exciting because when it's instant, you want to jump in and make it clear. And the problem that all of us have is that when someone says something, we're like, oh, wait, it's going to go. I'm going to lose a thought. That's why we're all trying to jump in. And it may seem jumbled at times, but hey, this is what makes it cool. So,
and if we didn't care, we wouldn't do that. And trying to, because we'll forget. This show, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this show has just so much stuff happening at so many times.
Oh God.
That it's just, you can't keep up. Even after watching it 4 or 5 times, you'll miss something.
6.
So this is why it's exactly why I enjoy reporting with Robert, Michael, and Roger, because they'll catch stuff or they'll see something I missed because I'm so focused on a particular different deal. So I definitely am so thankful and lucky that I was able to come on board with you guys. You guys are awesome. Except for Michael. No, I'm just kidding.
Marcia says, I'm with you, Elizabeth. I don't even count anymore. Marcia, the first step to recovery, and maybe you don't want to, is admitting
that you have a problem.
Yeah, we are a true comedian. That's what makes it fun. Like sitting in our own living room. Yeah, it's the best thing. So we've been at this for about an hour 25. I don't know what you guys are feeling. I'm sure there may be a few other items that you want to go over. Maybe not. I don't know. Jag, tell us what else what did we miss?
I'm just looking for, if we think up to 8 has been good, I can only imagine what 9, 10, 11, and 12 are going to do.
Look, if this writing continues.
So
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Richard, sorry.
So I understand what you're saying. I think Kelly came from 15 to 3, but 1 came along unexpectedly, and it caught her by surprise. So right now she's winging it and she's just gathered info and try to get back to 15 or whatever's going on. So that's what I think, because I just can't see how they knew that 1 was going to show up, because that would take a hell of a lot of timing. And
now maybe she's not from 15.
I'm just going with Jag's perspective.
I know, but I'm just saying maybe she's not from 15.
Well, yeah,
maybe
could still be
from 14 or maybe 16. Who knows?
Yeah, okay. Let's just
maybe
keep going.
But
she could still be with 3 and just killed everybody. Who knows what's going on?
Or she was with Roger on 47, and Roger is the one who's doing all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have to make one more comment. One more. I hope there is no time travel.
Okay, but okay. Marcia did say earlier, time travel is entering into the story big time.
Well, that's why. Okay. That's what I'm responding to. I'm tired of time travel. I mean, everything has time travel. But I'm getting tired of slingshotting around the sun. Let's just, let's.
Oh, so are you okay with temporal incursions then, as opposed to slingshot?
Well, I mean, every show has time travel, and then it all gets all screwed up. I mean, look how it screwed up Heroes at the end with all that time travel with and every show screws it up. And even Friends screwed up with the time travel and the different multiverses.
But the Ark time traveled around a star that was not there, technically.
Yeah. So. I'm just saying, if they do, if they do time travel, let's do it later on. We don't need to deal with it. I don't know. Every show has time travel to fix it. I mean, I watched the Travelers. In the very end, they travel back and fix time, and everybody's hunky dory. It's like, oh my God. And I know why they did it too, because they were under the gun, because they said this is your last season, so they had to hurry up and fix it on Travelers. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I've seen it.
I have, yeah.
But time travel it's an easy way out sometimes. Don't you agree, Michael? That sometimes it's just easy. It's like, oh, let's do time travel. Oh my God, it's like that Dallas thing when she wakes up in the shower. Oh, I had a dream that you died.
Dream. I said it before you did.
You fuck. Yeah, okay, you did. But
all right. Hold on, wait. Go ahead, Richard. Finish that thought, because Jag made a comment right now. All right, and I'm going to go to that. We're listening to each other. Go ahead, Richard. Finish your thought.
But I'm just saying. I don't know. I just don't want to see it. We've been through it time and time again.
Ha
yeah, I know. Anyway,
everybody's thinking jokes
I didn't mean to say it that way. Don't
the Jagisms are good.
Oh God, yeah, I didn't. That was just whatever. But that's okay. I'm done.
Let me just rebuttal on something with Richard. Richard, okay. You don't want to see time travel anymore. Yet you like the way Faster Than Light was presented, and here we've seen Faster Than Light presented many times in the past, and yet you enjoyed Faster Than Light presented here.
Oh, that's dude, that's heavy psychopath.
It's too late for that.
Even I call foul on that one.
You're making my mind explode.
Stop it!
That was
I
just
know
that's
what
a,
you're saying.
You'd be
Yeah,
Tuvok,
I
right?
know what you're saying. It was cool, but I'm hoping that they can fix it so there is no more
I got you.
time.
I got
You know,
I
the
got
time
you.
jumps.
Several things before we go to Jag.
But if they
Marsha
time, because they're
Elizabeth.
going to time travel, they're going to go back before all this shit happened and fix it.
Well, we'll see. Marsha
No,
Elizabeth.
that's what time
Do
travel
you
always
want
is.
to join us? Maybe, maybe not. Here's a link. If you guys want to join us in the last few minutes, there's a link in the chat room. It's Michael. If hold on,
Anyway,
I want to post that. And then look, I understand what Richard is saying, and I'd like to agree and point out, unlike other time travel stories, yesterday's Enterprise was impressive.
well, okay, there's exceptions. There are
Exactly, and that's all I
exceptions.
wanted to say. Now, Jag.
Jesus Christ, Roger!
What?
Just yeah, there are exceptions.
No, brother, I'm with you on it. I really am. I just wanted to point that one out because I have to.
Well, I'm not saying they
Jag.
all suck ass. I'm just saying sometimes it's used. Oh, never mind. I'm done. Michael, get us out of here.
No, I'm not going to Michael. I'm going back to Jag.
Let's go to self-destruct.
No. Jag, what was your surreptitious comment right now about? Well, they already went around a star that wasn't there. Come on,
You
I
caught
heard
that, didn't you?
Yeah, you and Michael like cut the crap. Let's go, Jag.
So this is why I ended up on this live show. If anybody wants to know why I'm here, is I couldn't get off.
We got it wrong.
No, I was just saying we were talking about Proximus B and how the arc is going on Proximus B, and I caught. And by the way, I love the way it was done and everything else, but they're going around a star when there is no star between here and Proximus B. So I didn't understand, except later I think Michael brought it back that it was a rogue star and a planet that just happened to come in. Now, Mike, you're on mute.
You're muted.
You're on
Michael,
mute. You're on mic. You're on mute.
You're muted, Michael.
As I should be. Yes.
That's
I'm
not
the one
true.
that's got the dog over here.
But I caught that. It's done beautifully, and it's a beautiful sequence. But then it dawned on me and say there are no stars between
There are no
ours
stars.
and Prox. So, but we let the show go because I think there's some brilliant writing. I think it's some brilliant character development. It's got some brilliant special effects like we saw in this last episode, given the little to no budget.
It's all right, Elizabeth. You can join us with.
He's got a dog.
camera.
He's got a dog. So
yes, unfortunately, Elizabeth, you can join us without a camera. You can just say no to the camera and still talk to us. But it would. Everyone is welcome, folks. All kidding aside.
one final comment I wanted to say about Arc 15, and I want to have the eyes or the eyesight of Felix because it seems like he sees stuff that no one else does. So when they looked at the footage at the beginning of Arc 15, he said, "Let me zoom in a little bit more," and you saw Maddox Corporation on it. So you knew that Maddox, who apparently Trust and Maddox don't get along, so that also introduces a little bit of a little speculation that Arc 15 was made with Maddox Corporation while Arc 1 was made via Trust Industries. So just something to think about.
Yeah, but that again, that's
Maybe
what what's her name said. Can we trust anything she says about what went on Earth and with the Arc development? I mean, she could have been lying. So
no, what I'm saying is, you look at the actual footage.
And it says
it zooms in on, and it says Maddox Corporation.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Well, I noticed that too.
Okay.
I mean, you can see that, but you didn't know. But maybe Maddox is on Arc 15, and that's why they're wiping out all of Trust arcs.
Yes, the Trust arcs.
That's why I'm saying that it's leading to a mutiny. That's why I'm saying it's leading to this mutiny or this kind of two arc or two faction kind of thing. That's where I think this is where it's headed.
So are you thinking there's Maddox sympathizers on the Arc 1, or are they going to just divide up between Trust and the cat? And
remember, there's some people on Mark 1 that hate Trust. You saw when he walked. You saw those people when they were spitting at him.
That's going to be. But
those would be Maddox sympathizers by default.
Yeah, because they hate Trust. Bryce would be
May not like
Bryce would be a
Maddox
Maddox
either.
sympathizer because he
Or-
doesn't like Trust.
or
Well, remember,
Matlock.
someone
And you know I'm
they
getting
brought up-
animated when
They
I
might
start
not
doing
like
this now.
Matlock at all. But
okay, remember
it's
someone
going to be
said-
interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yes.
I mean,
God, yeah.
this is so this thing is getting so frustrating. And
No, but in a good way.
I didn't say it was bad. I'm just saying that's why you keep coming back to watch it, right?
Yeah. They know what they're doing. The writers know what they're doing. So.
If she said her browser isn't working, if you're using Safari, that might be why.
And Chrome can be a little bit of a wench. Nothing personal. I'm talking about the browser. I do know that the Microsoft Edge is stable. And I know
Firefox.
that might be a contradiction in terms.
And Firefox. And I'm on Firefox. So if anybody's using Firefox, I use it.
Hey, Jag, watch your language.
Firefox? Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Firefox.
watch your language. Dude.
Sorry.
Watch your
I'm just saying the name. But
oh, you are Firefox.
Firefox.
I'm just screwing with you, Jag.
I know. But anyway, so
okay. Yeah. Oh, hey, wait a minute, Elizabeth. I didn't think about Maddox being on Arc 15, getting rid of the others, so they are the Supreme Commander. Remember, I pointed that out earlier that Helena said it's part of the plan that you will be installed as the leader. Now, didn't they say that all of the arcs were going to be sent out in different directions? That was
Originally, that's what they said. Yeah.
That was originally the plan. And I'm thinking that they found out that there's nothing else anywhere. And that's why it's only Proxima B. And that would follow that the Maddox group is now trying to take out those that are not with them.
And they're behind because they've got the older technology. So
and
they're slower.
Arc 15, while it's faster than light,
real fast, obviously.
Yeah, I get the impression it's much faster.
Yes.
It's decades or years, even years after Arc 3. Even it was mentioned that even 15 was not supposed to launch for years even after Arc 3. So it's got to be.
Time travel?
I don't know. But then there was a mention that the Earth stuff got so bad that they were just launching arcs.
Yeah,
just to get everybody out.
Well, that's what Kelly said.
I know. So we not.
I think that was Garnett or somebody was saying that it may have gotten so bad on Earth that they were just launching arcs as quickly as they could. I don't think it was Kelly.
I think it was Kelly. I thought it was Kelly.
Was it Kelly?
Anyone in the chat room?
Kelly is saying all kinds of crazy shit, and we don't know what's true or false. And that's the thing. We don't know how many red herrings that Kelly is throwing at us. And that's why I think.
Blonde or redhead?
What? She's a redhead. Did you see her freckles?
Red herring.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, for God's sakes, Roger. Anyway. that was a good one, but okay. But I'm just saying, I didn't even catch. I say
it was
no
Kelly.
Pun,
yes,
thank
you,
no
Marsha.
pun
Thank you,
intended.
Marsha.
Yep, Marsha.
Oh, I bet you she gets that every day.
And she was talking. I don't think she's directed anything towards me all night. It's all towards.
Oh, she will. She'll tell me later.
So
it's Arcaholics. So
not according to Roger.
I just made that up.
Yes, you made up Arcaholics, right?
No, I made up Arcers right then and there. Remember, I was like, "Hey, so what are we, Arcers?" I just made that up at that moment. So that's cool. Marsha says, and I love it. That's cool. Look, we engage our audience. We read what you post. So be careful. It works both ways.
But yeah, I just saw a note. Somebody wrote that they went to I wanted to go to that. Was it WonderCon? I wanted to go because I would have loved to have been in that panel to see Dean and Jonathan, the showrunners. But if they're saying that it's going to rev up, I believe them. So
now remember, what for a producer and a writer, what is action? See, if you say action, the guys get all woody by saying, "Ooh, there's going to be space battles, gunfights, and stuff like that." And the smarter people are like, action. That's drama. That's story. That's whatever. So, what are we talking about? What sort of action? So, I am looking forward to it. I noticed that Richard, this was on a personal comment, and I want to share a story that when Richard found out that we were going to be doing the arc, at first he said, "Another program, Raj?" And then he started looking at it and he said, "What was it, Richard? You said like after the first or second episode, you're like, oh, damn it, I'm in."
I think it was back when I first came on, the fourth episode.
Okay.
Wasn't it? I think when Jag was here, the first time I met Jag, I said, I'm in now, because it was that episode that really got, I did watch them all, but then when we got to 4, I was like, okay, now we're going somewhere. I'm in. And that's, so ever since then, but still, I'm just saying that's, yeah. I don't think I said another program. I knew you do these things. I mean, to me, it's like, okay, let's do a program, and I show up. So here I am.
Yeah, folks, we're looking
for better or worse
to do a program. As Michael knows, if I'm asked to do a program, I'm a sucker. I will commit. I'll do it. We've been left hanging in the last 4 months, Michael, 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, folks, one of our hit programs, The House of the Dragon, it wasn't my idea. It was someone else. But we just kept it going. And then we had a professional actor that we were going to interview actually made his debut on with us before the interview.
House of the Dragon.
Cool. On The House of the Dragon. He loved it, man. It was awesome.
So he was one of our co-hosts before we had even interviewed him on the show, which was kind of wild.
I'm not sure if you guys saw the Ryan Adams episode. I was really just messing with them, just overdoing to see if he'd reveal anything. And there was a moment even Adams was like, "Hey, watch this guy." I thought it was funny. Elizabeth says we have several family members of the cast in our group, and even they can't get a hint on the next episodes. Believe me, they've tried. So such love for mom or auntie.
Yeah, I saw that where the mom of, I believe there's an actor, I think he plays the nurse and the I'm trying to remember the guy that did the sermon at the beginning. She tried to ask him, "Hey, do you have anything coming up for this episode or any further?" And he said, "No, I can't tell you." So they're really bound by their
NDAs. Yeah,
those NDAs are around. And even John Palmnickel, the guy, the writer, wrote back to him later after our episode. I said, "Hey, if your ears were ringing or any red, I happen to mention your name. You want to see what I said about you?" And he even wrote me back and he said, "I'm so sorry I didn't give you anything, but I want to keep my job." So yeah, I totally get it. So
we've had a couple of guests say, "I can't answer. I did an NDA," and we go, "Okay, we understand," and we go right on to another subject.
We do. We're so thrilled. Number one, that they read the email. That's one. 2, their agent said, "Okay, we'll see." 3, they say, "Okay, the guests would like to do it." And 4, they show up. Holy mother of God. It's like, wow. So if they tell us, "Yeah, I can't talk about that," we're like, "Oh, understood. We move on." And that's it.
There you go.
That's what she said. Same with Ryan's hands. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the way it is in the business. They have to keep
it. Is no, it is. I've had to sign some NDAs myself, so I totally get it.
Those are good writers. Those are good producers. They want to spend time with you. They want to tease, and I say that professionally. You guys know what I mean. They want to get your interest going, and they're spending time with us trying to answer as much as they can, because it's not necessarily the NDAs. They really want you to enjoy it.
So Rebecca was
with us, man.
Rebecca was tweeting she was live tweeting in the last episode. She was the one that wrote the episode for episode 8. And so she was hanging out with the people that were live tweeting on the West Coast feed. And then, like I said, John Palmnickel was doing, he caught up with the feed later, and he was, responding to people and liking their posts and stuff. So it's clear that these guys are not just doing it because they're just told to do it. They like the fact that, And I think even John wrote back and he says it's great to see people like us discussing and spending time discussing their show. So they appreciate it.
Folks, and forgive me for going off on a tangent here, but I was lucky. I was on the old AOL boards. AOL, yes, when it existed in the 90s. And when Voyager, of all things, had its run, some of the producers actually began to show up on the AOL boards. There were a lot of people faking, but Ron Moore famously spent, and he could never answer a question directly. Brandon Braga, Jerry Taylor, all were there too. Joe Minosky, Mike already knows the story. Joe Minosky was on the board as well. And he was cool. It got to the point where I was able to email him and we would exchange stuff and everything. And he shared with me a really cool concept. He says, Roger, yes, this pays my meal, it pays my rent, it pays everything. But there is such a joy going into a theater or into a room where it's being watched. And you know what's going to happen because of your work. And you see these people riveted and glued. And it's exciting when they laugh at what you wrote. It's a little confusing when they laugh at what you wrote when they should have. But he says there is nothing like it. It's one of the greatest thrills. A writer's thrill is seeing the reactions of their audience.
Yep. Think about it. When do they get feedback? Other than when they're talking to their boss and going in the writing room about an episode, when do they actually get any kind of real feedback other than when it airs? And they see people then go online and talk about it. And it looks like we're losing Michael here. You okay, Michael?
No, it's just other things.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I think that's the only time they get the feedback that they finally. I remember when Dean did the first live, when we did the first episode live premiere, the whole cast that was there present, they were not saying anything but wanting to see the feedback, and they were enjoying the feedback from the people that would watch the show. It's good to feel some kind of validation of what you do, whether it's good or bad. So I think they're just human like the rest of us, that you worked hard on something for months or maybe even years, and then you finally get the opportunity to show that off in public. And you want to hear that. You want to hear that validation, good or bad. You want to hear that. If it's good, great job. If it's bad, you learn from it and you improve it.
Wow. I genuinely did not think we were going to go 2 hours, and we almost have.
But it was a good episode. So
it definitely, and there's a lot to like in the program. Duh. Sorry, not trying to be condescending, but I've learned from all three of you tonight quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm keeping What's crazy is, if you think about the 8 episodes that we're in, almost every scene that came before us built to where we deliberately. These guys didn't have the threads of the storylines. They had the beats down. That's some hardcore storytelling, man. Where they deliberately set up, like we talked about Trent, what he did when he looked like he was doing the stutter step, and then he went off in the direction that he did. And then we have several episodes later where Felix comments about it. It's Felix Strickland, right, Jag?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Felix.
Yeah. It's really good stuff. I tell you, I'm an archaholic. I am. Look, I didn't know I was an archaholic. I'm cool with it. I just made the Arkers. Yeah, I think that was kind of cool. I think
there's room for everything in our world, but I think you're correct, though.
Trekkies, please. No.
I think you're correct in what you were saying, that you that's why you have to watch the show sometimes several times, because you'll miss them from even previous times, and it'll make sense. And that was, and the show does a great job of redoing that every episode, where it references something from the past. And then you'll go like, look how we all reacted with Trent when it was revealed that he was the killer. What it was, us three of us, I don't know about Richard, he wasn't with us on live, but the rest of us, right, that was in front of our faces and we didn't even catch it.
Yeah.
What's that again? What was in front of your faces?
So when it was revealed that Trent was the killer of the guy that killed Jasper, And it was, remember, he was the one in front of us the whole time. And I didn't catch it until the end that it was him. So
They
it was
weren't
just
subtle about it. It was there. There is sharp writing, sharp storytelling in this. It's really good stuff. I'm lucky I'm in.
Yeah,
And,
so am I.
Hell yeah. Guys, we've got about a little less than 10 minutes. Let's go maybe 3 minutes each if you'd like. Last thoughts. Because, like I said, I'm committed. I'm in. I'm thrilled that everyone is joining us. Love your thoughts, your comments. And Dean Devlin and Jonathan Glasner know how to bring the sci-fi. I'm here for it. Richard had a wonderful comment. He says, isn't it great to watch a sci-fi show on the Sci-Fi Channel? It was you, Richard, wasn't it? He said,
No.
wow. Oh, it wasn't?
No, it was me.
That was Michael.
Revisionist history.
Hey, I'll take credit where I can get it.
Yeah. So
But
go ahead, guys.
I know. It sounds like a Michael thing, though.
Oh, Michael thing. All right, fair enough. Go ahead, Richard.
What am I doing?
I don't know. Last 3 minutes. Any other comments? Otherwise, we're done. I know my words mean nothing to you, but I'm still all right with it.
I've said everything I needed to say. I think it's.
Oh, and yet you continue.
Yeah. Quiet. Anyway.
The funniest thing I love about Richard is, all right, I think I said, all right, I'll shut up now. I'm done. Well, you know. But it's beautiful. It is, because this is what it does. Jag, go for it. I'm just screwing with you, Richard.
I think I've said everything I've needed to say.
I'm
on Arc 2 today right now.
Oh, Michael?
Oh, well, the only thing I want to say is if people are available on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. UK time, we will be. Yeah, well, I had, well, that's not really right because they're on daylight savings right now too. They just switched. Yeah, isn't that wild? Hey, when you have to schedule guests, you have to know these things.
You're the true time traveler. You are the true time traveler.
Oh, I know. It is so much. So we are going to have Alicia on, and it's going to be great. And we may have a surprise visitor. I am not sure yet. I'm working on some other things too, but we will have her on, and I am very excited about that. I am so glad she said yes, because sometimes, sadly, they don't, and that's really sad. But so Stacy Reed will be joining us at those times I said, and
that was a major snag.
Please join us in the chat room. I mean, it'd be great to have you there.
I was surprised to see that. I mean, that's congratulations, Michael, on pulling that off.
Yeah, I've tried a few more, but I was glad to get her. So
good job. Good job.
Yes, it will be live.
Yes, Marcia, it will be live, just like this one.
Yeah, we do no stinking recordings here.
We don't do recordings.
And folks, let me tell you this. This is Roger the stuck-up guy. This is not a podcast. This is live internet. It's not a podcast. We don't do podcasts.
Yeah, but if I say that to them, they don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, we do. We do live podcasts. We do not.
Everyone does a podcast. We don't. Can't you tell? There's no editing.
Oh my God. We're not going to be able to make up. Okay, you want to make up. Okay, we're live. What? We're live internet. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's what he says, but nobody understands that either.
No.
I've tried.
Join us on the AOL message boards.
Well, there you go.
Oh, gosh.
Just do the middle finger. So anyway, no, we're not going to do that. The audience has been good to us. Folks, thank you, Marcia. We do too.
We do too.
We do too.
Okay.
No, we do. We appreciate the audience. Like I said, you guys make this up. Look, Jag made it for us that episode. That's why we asked him to join us.
Oh man, but I appreciate the guys from the group showing up. I really appreciate that. Like I said, I mentioned it somewhere, and it's nice to see the support. As Roger mentioned, the fans make it the way it is. So thank you for supporting.
Yeah, wow, sounds great. All right, folks, I think we're going to be done at this point, and thank you, everyone. Richard, Captain Richard, and Jag. Admiral. Oh no. Anyway, and of course Michael.
He's not here. He's not here. Michael's not here.
Right.
Yeah.
He's Stardust.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Stardust. That's Rogue One. Sorry.
Yes.
Or it's Doctor Who.
So instead of faster,
remember that?
yes. And instead of faster than light in the arc, this is faster than Michael because he's the one that does all the scheduling with all the time frames. So. It's FTM, so it's faster than Michael. Sorry, I had to put in that last groan. So, sorry, Roger.
Not at all.
Keep on trucking. Do the cowbell, Richard. Do the cowbell one more time.
Oh, yeah, please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you will know when we're on, and you know when to get the hell off.
Every time he uses that cowbell, which is awesome, I'm thinking, wait a minute, he's from Ohio, not Texas.
I'm from Texas,
well,
and I don't even have a cowbell.
Ohio.
And I don't have a cowbell, so.
Well, I
could probably drive. There are cows in Ohio.
More cowbell.
we have cow farts here in Ohio to help decrease the ozone, but don't worry about it.
Did you say cow farts? Cow farts.
Marcia, is that in reference to that song or not a song? What is it? A song?
The SNL sketch.
Yeah.
The SNL sketch.
Which is on my car, but we won't go into that.
All right. We will next week. Folks, we'll be on next week. Thank you again. It doesn't matter whether it's a holy day of obligation, whether you believe in that stuff or not, and not a shot against anyone, but we will be on every Sunday night through this run. And if there's an episode or stuff you want to do, just let us know. Chances are we're available.
And we may do a special because of some time differences with people. So it may the last one, or it may not be at this time. So just so you know that, because if we can get some interesting guests, I don't really want them to get up at 2:00 in the morning. I would rather us go at a different time. So, just so you know. So just keep do the cowbell again.
What?
Do the cowbell again, please.
Hey,
Thank you. Because if you do that and you subscribe, then you'll know because you get notified.
That's true.
Oh.
And if you don't subscribe, this happens.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right, folks. We're out of here. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Have a good one.